And just like that, we're live! Woohoo! Just like the old days.
Just like the old days. Can you honestly believe it?
I cannot believe it. But welcome in, everybody. We are back with a very special episode of the Disney Movie Review. And my boy right over here is back and better than ever. He's not in heaven, even though it looks like he's got a white cloud all behind him. He's got the pearly gates and the heavenly rays descending down on him. My boy Dan is back with us. What's going on, brother? How you been?
Oh, it's so good to be back, honestly. And just being back here on YouTube, especially with my brother, it's been a long time. And I messaged Walt this week. I was like, you know what, Walt, I know we've got some plans coming up at the end of the year, but let's do a stream. Let's do a stream tonight. Let's just do it. And it's Halloween tomorrow. So what better way of coming back than doing a Halloween special and talk about our favorite, scariest moments of Disney animated history?
Yes, scariest moments. And I've got, we're going to pick a few of them out. Some scary moments from Disney animated feature films. Now, mine are pretty much from feature films. I guess you could do movie shows too. Melissa had mentioned Halloween Town. There was a couple of scary scenes from that. Yeah. But I stuck strictly to movies, feature-length movies for me. Do you have anything outside movies, or?
I think I've got the majority animated films, and then whenever we do like an honorable mention, I have one scary live-action film, which it almost needs a movie of it and a show of its own, but we'll get to that at the end.
Gotcha. All right. Well, before we get started, let's say hi to everybody in chat like we always do. Chris Slemmer's here. My brother Chris is here. Good to see you. Jeannie's here. Kim Daniels is here. Scott's here. John Messina here. Victor's here. Will Lovins over on your neck of the woods is here.
Yep.
CNR Bloomers also over in your neck of the woods is here. And Debbie Anderson is here. Let's see. Who else we got? There's Leanne Sherbick. She's in the house.
Leanne.
Timothy Rainwaters is here as well.
Hey,
is that Dan the man? It is Dan. Timothy. That's so funny. Julie McCown's here as well. Scary moment for me live action was the wardrobe from Beauty and the Beast. Yikes. Gee, that's funny.
Love it.
I'll put her comment up on the screen. There she goes. She puts live action was the wardrobe from Beauty and the Beast. I don't even remember. I've seen that movie and I don't even remember that scene. There's Sarah. Sarah, welcome in as well. I think Sarah's over on your side, your neck of the woods too.
I believe so.
Good. All right, I do want to let everybody know a couple things real fast. Let's do some quick mousekeeping, and then we'll get into our selections. On my end, tomorrow, I'll be over at the Disney Expo for the Run Disney event. I don't know if I'm going to stream it yet. I may, so look for a pop-up stream. Obviously, I am streaming the race Friday morning, bright and early here in America. It's going to be like 5 a.m., but anybody over in the UK, it'd be like 9 o'clock your time. So if you're up and you want to watch us run the race, Melissa and I, we'd love for you to join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. Obviously, weekend streams, you can look for them as well. I gotta get all those thumbnails up, but we'll be good to go. Dan, anything for you? Any kind of news about your channel you want to share, or nothing yet?
Well, recently, last Friday, I did Pub Talk on Rob Fuzz and Adam's Lounge channel. We did our 100th episode of Pub Talk.
Nice. It's been that many episodes, huh?
Really, really amazing. We were all in costume, Halloween costume. So not going to give you any spoilers, but go watch it. It was really good fun. And then for me personally, well, I've got a little trip coming up in December, so there might be a few videos, maybe a live stream or two while we're there. But that is all for upcoming stuff to come. So, but I know I said to Walt yesterday, my channel, I feel like needs a bit of Frankenstein lightning shot back into the channel because it needs a bit of life. So my plan for 2025 is to give my channel a bit of a resurgence. So that's one of my resolutions for next year.
That's awesome. And we're all excited. I'm excited for that. I hope so. I kind of miss the old days when we would do this very often and have a lot of people come in and have people join us. These things used to be a blast. I actually talked about that 2 weeks ago, about how in the old days, before a lot of us moved down to Disney, this is the only way we really talked Disney was on streams like this. So I miss those days.
Yeah, it's good to see everyone in the chat, and I know it's been a long time, and it's good to do these kind of things again. So
Yeah.
we're looking forward to doing hopefully more in the future.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that at the end here. Kelsey Elizabeth's here. Welcome in, Kelsey. There's Mandy Adams. I found Watcher in the Woods scary. I don't remember that one. Is that Disney? I don't remember that one. All right, everybody else is out. Yep, there you go. Leanne says, going to see you there, Dan. She lives really close now, Dan. She can just drive down real fast, say hello, and then drive back.
Got to see you, Leanne.
Good. There's Anthony. Anthony Candela. Welcome in, Anthony.
Hey.
Good to see you. Hope you and Haley are doing well, and Connie got to meet them at Epcot. Well, let's say
Nice.
That was nice.
Nice.
All right, Daniel. Let's get into this.
Now, Walt, I've got to stop you. Before we even started, I think you may have even forgotten something very important. Because this is the Disney movie review, which means we need a sponsor.
Okay. Yes. Do we have a sponsor this week? I couldn't find anybody, so I kind of wasn't going to, we hadn't done it in a while, and I didn't want to put any pressure on you. But
it was last minute. We talked about it yesterday, and I managed to get a absolute thriller. Get it? Thriller of a sponsor. Get it? A thriller of a sponsor. Fun. So, today's episode of the Disney Movie Review is sponsored by Headless Horseman Hats. Ever want to wear a hat so light that it feels like nothing is there at all? Well, the Headless Horseman hats are ahead of the game. Ahead of the game.
I get it. Yeah, that's a headache.
Are you sick? Are you sick and tired of your pirate hook hats, horned-eared weights over the top, or frollo sombreros? Well, Headless Horseman hats are perfect for your everyday activities. Whether that's horse riding, pumpkin throwing, or Ichabod crane killing, spoiler alert, Headless Horseman's hats are perfect for all activities. Don't miss out on our magnificent deal where you get 2 hats for the price of 1. You could jack a knot. Believe it. That was terrible, that one. That's Headless Horseman hats. You'll never have felt more attractive.
That's fantastic, and hats off to them for coming up and being our sponsor last minute like that. That was great, and they really are head and shoulders above the rest.
Oh,
so
it's like you're writing it yourself. These sponsors.
It's ridiculous.
Oh dear.
Oh my God. I'm getting a headache.
You guys wouldn't think that it's been a long time since we've done a stream together.
I'm telling you, it's been months. Anyway. All right, let's see. A couple of people can... Hey, Leanne loved it. Princess and the Frog of Vasilier. There you go. All right, talking there. Dan says, don't know if you heard the news. Paula and I are going to be grandparents. I did. I heard that.
Congratulations.
Got to say hi to Heather real fast. Heather's here. Heather Springer. Hi, Gregory. First time Gregory's watching, I'm sure.
So good to see everybody. And congratulations, Timothy. That's amazing. Fantastic news.
That is. It's fantastic news for sure. Just want everybody happy and healthy.
Yep.
All right, Daniel, we got our sponsor out of the way, Headless Horseman Hats.
Yep.
That's just incredibly awesome. Hats off to you. I have to... Charlie and Stacy are here, the Disney Nerd Herders. What's up, guys? Actually, I think they're going to be live later tonight with 5 Foolish Mortals for a Halloween special as well. So be sure to check them out after us, guys. I think they're at 8, though, so they'll be a little bit later.
Nice.
If one of our mods want to put in the link to Charlie and Stacy, the Nerd Herders, please do for their stream coming up later tonight. That ought to be fun. We'll be tuning in. All right, finally, I'm going to shut my mouth for a couple minutes, and I'm going to allow you to go first, Daniel. First one on your list.
All right, I'll go first because it's been a while. So, number 1 on my list, we're going way back in time to 19-something or other. One of the first Disney animated films called Dumbo.
Oh,
and you're probably thinking, what, Dumbo? Really? Just a flying elephant with a little mouse in the top of his hat? Well, let me tell you something. When Disney were pushing the boat out, a little bit more than they can do today, where Dumbo had a few too many pink lemonades, he ended up seeing a lot of pink elephants on parades. And let me tell you something. The pink elephants on parade scene from Dumbo is... It used to freak me out as a child.
It's pretty trippy for sure. What's up, Eden?
It's very trippy. The elephants are moving at a really I don't know, weird animation style, and like it's almost like breaking the fourth wall, trying to freak you out,
And succeeding.
exactly.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, it just every time I watch that movie, and I had that movie on VHS, I watched it all the time, and every time I watched it as a kid, I would always fast forward through that scene because it freaked me out.
Well,
So
that's a good one. That didn't make my list, but that's a good. I mean, I didn't even think about Dumbo, but that is. I mean, they can be pretty freaky. And I'm trying to look at for these. I'm trying to look at this as in a child's perspective, because a lot of them for me now as an adult wouldn't be as scary, but as a child, it's going to hit you in a different place, and that's a perfect example of it right there. You know, now I look at Elephants on Parade, and I kind of chuckle at it, and I'm thinking, wow, you must be high to really. Who was high when they came up with that? But as a kid, I could see that for sure.
And you know what? There's different types of scares, isn't there? There's jump scare, there's suspense scare, there's weird, wacky scare, and I think this definitely falls into the weird, wacky scare. And I think the Pink Elephants on Parade, you can definitely say is quite scary, especially for young children, because it is so in your face. Like it's meant to freak Dumbo out, so it's meant to freak you out. Right. I mean, you know, if Disney, you know, made a live action version of that scene, I mean, that could be even more scary. So,
which they didn't do when they did the live action.
I know,
which I thought was
well, they did. They made it out of bubbles, which I think, which was
Steve. Stardio Studios, welcome in. John Hazelton, welcome in. Hope you guys are all doing well. Now, Steve's saying there's an echo. I apologize if there is an echo. I can't hear it on my end.
Is it me?
I don't know if it's you or not. I don't think so. Look at that. Look who it is. It's Carlos.
Hey, Carlos. What's up, brother?
Carlos was live, I think, earlier today with a live stream about getting ready for the holidays. So check that out if you want to see some holiday stuff.
This time is
I unfortunately don't have my earbuds. I don't know where they are for me to be able to go get them. I apologize for that, guys. There's Courtney as well. Courtney Rain Wonders is here. So I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll try to lower my voice because I know I can be really loud. Maybe that'll help with the echo a little bit.
You're not gonna not lowering your voice like this.
Yeah, I don't want to lower.
Not in tone. You know. Right. So that was my first. Well, it wasn't the first one that I thought of, but I thought to kick things off in DizneyDan fashion, the Pink Elephants on Parade from Dumbo is certainly one on my list.
That's funny. All right, so I'm going to get into my first one. I'm going to bring up, for me, I have some video stuff I want to share for you guys because I want you all to understand where I'm getting these from. So, and I may have to, hopefully this will go on the video. I've never done this before with somebody on here, so I don't know if it'll work or not. Slight echo, only when Dan talks. Okay. I don't know why, and I apologize, but we'll get it worked out. All right, so here's my first one. I'm going to go a little bit different as well, but I'm going to go with this one. So I'm going to put this right here. So this is a scene from Mulan, and it's, of course, Shan Yu. If you all remember Shan Yu, who I still feel is a vastly underrated villain in the Disney world. And this is the scene in the very beginning when he's getting ready to invade China, and these are the two messengers that were left from the army that he fought. And he takes these two guys, and he says to them, go back to the emperor and tell him that I'm coming. And as the two guys run away, he says it right here. He says, how many men do you need to deliver a message? And this guy goes, just one. And that's a scary scene to me, and it really, really tells me how much of a bad guy. He could have let both of them go, but he didn't. He wanted to kill one of them. He really wanted to, and that can be scary. Even in Disney's age, and this is an older movie, but that's a scene for a kid that can really scare you and really understand how much of a villain Shan Yu really is. I still think he is a vastly underrated villain, and we always talk about in the parks, Dan, characters you want to meet. He's one for me. I really want to meet.
Nice.
So that's my first one. The Shan Yu. How many messengers does it take to deliver a message? One.
That actually was not so. I didn't actually think of that one. It was not on my list, but definitely one that is definitely brings. It's almost that one that is. It puts a chill down your spine. That one.
Yeah, I think so. And
That's
that
what it
might even
means.
be catered more for adults. I don't know that a kid would really get that, but as an adult, I understand it. And
Yeah.
it is a little chilling to me. Charlie,
Mm.
no, this is not StreamYard. This is Ecamm. For those who, because he asked. All right, Daniel,
Um,
you're up next.
Alrighty. So I'm going to go with the next one. I'm going to go with is well the one that our sponsor was named after. Now, during um, during World War II, Walt Disney and the Walt Disney Company were putting out sort of films that weren't so really very well recognizable or very well famous. Things like Melody Time and Saludos Amigos and the Three Caballeros.
Right.
But near the end of sort of the World War sort of genre that they sort of had, they created a film, which was two films in one, called the Great Adventures of Ichabod Crane and Mr. Toad. Now, this was two short films in one about Mr. Toad, which we get Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, definitely one of the scariest rides that
They
Disney has
take
ever
you to
made.
hell.
They pretty much do. But
Literally.
the second half of the film, the second short film, is The Adventures of Ichabod Crane. Now, Ichabod Crane is a film about this teacher. Guess it resonates to me a lot, as a lot of you know I am a teacher.
Yes,
And it's about how he tries to sort of woo this lady away from this brute called Brom Bones, who is kind of an inspiration for Gaston from Beauty and the Beast, I guess. But long story short, spoiler alert, they freak Ichabod Crane out a little bit at this Halloween dance, at this Halloween event about a song about the Headless Horseman. So you're thinking, okay, it's all about the Headless Horseman and this freaking Ichabod Crane out, nothing's going to happen to him. Well, let me tell you, this scene with the Headless Horseman chasing down Ichabod Crane, the way that Disney brings that suspense, using the sound, and they bring it up, and they bring it all together. And the way this sort of cat and mouse chase of Ichabod Crane and and the Headless Horseman is just wonderful, and it's scary. Like there's a good jump scare in that, where you see the Headless Horseman with his sword and his pumpkin head in both hands. And
now I have it on the screen right now, Dan. I don't know if you can see it.
I cannot see it.
Okay, yeah, I do actually have it on the screen for people to see, because that made my list too. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, so I've got it. I've got it on a separate screen right here. Yeah, so this chase that you're seeing right now, this is a really, really intense. Like it's really dark for Disney. And then you'll see that. Well, this is one of the few times in Disney movie history where the villain wins. We don't know what happened to Ichabod Crane. We don't know what happened to him. All we find is his hat at the end, which is kind of terrifying. Because you don't know. So, no, I'm a big fan of this sort of short film. I think the Headless Horseman is widely overlooked, and we do get to see him at Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. But this whole scene, from the build-up of Ichabod Crane walking through the forest, riding on his horse through the forest, right up to when he gets hit with a pumpkin over the bridge, that is by far one of the scariest scenes, I think, in Disney.
I agree 100%. I think that scene is a great scene. And it made my list too. I think the Headless Horseman, again, is another one of those underrated, only thought about during Halloween time as a villain, but he is such a great villain. And he made my list too. That's why I brought the video up, because he definitely makes my list as one of the ones, for me, that's extremely scary. Here, Mel, do me a favor real fast. Melissa's here. She's going to... Oh, I don't think that works. Wait a minute. I'm going to see if I can plug in my earbuds.
I think the echo is from me, but...
well, right, but I think if I put my earbuds in, it may get rid of it. Nope. All right. That's all right. I thought I had the old kind in there, but may not. That's okay. That's all right. We're working it out. Jason Thibodeau's here. I got to say hi to Jason real fast. He's saying hi to
Hey,
everybody. Good to have Jason in here. All right, we're going to keep going. All right,
howdy.
Dan, that's an awesome one, by the way, because I agree 100%. That one's
Yeah.
just phenomenal. Debbie Bernfeld's here.
Hey, Debbie.
Debbie, no, you're not late, dear. You're here. That's all that matters. All right, so I'm going to go with another obscure one for me. Okay, and again, I'm trying to resonate this as a child, where I can really see where this would be a scary scene for a child. Okay,
Mm.
and we're gonna go to Tarzan. And this
Oh,
is the scene with the jaguar, the leopard, whatever.
yep.
Here he comes. The entire scene. It's actually a great. Actually, the whole editing and cinematography of this is amazing because it's such a long fight scene. This isn't a 10-second fight scene. This goes on for a while, and I'll have a good portion of it right here. But there's a lot of intense, sequences. There's a lot of drama. Is he going to get him? Is he going to get away? And you see all these different, aspects of it in this fight with this extremely vicious jaguar. I think it's a jaguar. I think it's a jag. It might be a leopard.
Yeah,
But either
yeah, it could
way,
be.
that wants to kill the main, gorilla, but also wants Tarzan. And I really like this scene because throughout you see the cat. You talked about cat and mouse with the headless horseman. Same thing here. At first, Tarzan's the hunted, and now he's looking for areas where he can be the hunter and hunting the leopard in this. And I just think this is a great scene, and I can see where kids can be scared by this scene. Because again, you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, he's the hero, so you would expect him to win. But there are times like that where he gets clawed, he gets not so much bit, but he gets scratched, and it looks like he's going to lose. And this is just a really intense scene. What do you think, Dan?
Well, I think not only this scene it could be scary, but I think I mean I'm not a parent yet, but I can understand. You can look at the start of this movie where the same cheetah or the leopard is chasing after Tarzan as a baby, being held by his
Yes.
adoptive mother.
I wasn't
Um,
sure which one I was going to use. I went with this one
yeah,
because it was a longer fight scene. But yes, I
but
agree.
like that, by being chased, you know, by this cheetah with your baby in hand. I mean,
Right.
that also is very terrifying. Then I also think that at the end of the movie, where the villain Clayton gets hanged, it's the only time in a Disney movie where you see a
The death.
silhouette of the death of the hanging of Clayton. I think
Yeah.
also
It's the
is a very
shadow, but you're still seeing
scary.
it. I agree.
Yeah, it's a very. I think Disney went very dark on the film of Tarzan. I think it's one of the best
Well,
underrated films
yeah.
of this generation. So, but yeah, I
I
totally agree.
agree. And I think your point on the Clayton part is that was back during the time where Disney wasn't afraid. I'll just put it that way. Disney wasn't afraid. They were a little bit more bold back then. So, anyway. So that's mine. That's Tarzan. I think that one's a good one. There are some obvious ones that I think we're going to get to, but I wanted to get some of the non-obvious ones out of the way first. All right, Daniel, you're up. Give me a
Well,
good
I'm
one.
going to go with I'm going to go with a film that I think was either a year before or a year after Tarzan, and it's probably one of the scariest in not so much like thrill, but
Hey, man.
scary as in
Hi, Jason.
spiritual.
Okay.
And I'm going with The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oh, okay.
And let me tell you something. Judge Claude Frollo, quite arguably, is one of the most villainous of villains I think Disney has ever made. Just by his beliefs and how much hypocrisy he has,
Oh, yeah.
his desire for Esmeralda, and the scene that I think is by far the scariest is the song Hellfire, which is his song in the cathedral, where he is so conflicted and he's going back and forth on his beliefs and his desires of, do I devote myself to religion or do I give in to temptation and try and take Esmeralda for my own?
Right. Yeah.
And the whole confliction of how he goes from this sort of subtle song to very impactful, and you get all those red cloaks
Oh, yeah.
that go
Absolutely.
down the hall, symbolizing sort of path of evil, I guess, or evil reason, or whatever it is. And I just think it's so dark and so scary, especially if you are young, because you have no idea what's happening and you see it so dark. And two, if you're a religious person, I can understand why this is scary too, because
Oh yeah.
your dedication to faith is something that is very cherished. And then
And yeah, for him,
obviously
it's being tested.
and then you know the consequences if you do give in to that evil temptation.
Right.
And it's a very, very hard hitting scene, and it is, I would say, scary. It is definitely scary.
Oh yeah, I agree. I
More,
think
more
that's another
mentally.
one. Yeah, no, I think that one resonates more with either older kids, older adults. Not older adults, but adults. I don't know if the young ones that are 5, 6, 7, 8, they may not
No.
understand it. They're just looking at the scenes. They're not even really listening to the words of what he's singing about. But as you get older, it resonates a little bit more for sure. I agree 100%. And that's a
Yeah.
great scene. That's a good. You're right on that one.
It's a great film as well. I love that film. Love that film.
All right. That one did not make my list, I got to say, but it's fantastic for sure. All right, so the next one I'm going to do, Dan, this one's going to be kind of an obvious one, but I think this has to make the list. And as a child, this one actually scared me a lot. And there's all kinds of different aspects to it as to why. So we're going to go back to the very first film, very first feature film ever in the history of Walt Disney World. And we're going to go back to Snow White.
Yep.
And this is the scene after she finds out that Snow White is still alive and that she has not been killed. And she's not the fairest of them all. It's still Snow White. And this is where she's plotting her revenge. Now, this part right here isn't the part that necessarily is the scary part. But as the scene goes on, and you'll see as the scene goes on, she starts to make the potion that's going to change what she looks like. And you can't hear it, but even as she's doing the potion, there's different sound effects that they use during this that are creepy and ultimately scary, like the one she'll put in with the scream, and you actually see the scream leave it. And I think it's this one right here, if you watch, and then there goes the scream into the night, and then the lightning, and then the wind. And as a child, especially, this can be scary. This is a scene where you're thinking to yourself, as a 5-year-old, oh my gosh, this is kind of scary. And even as an adult, it's an actual intense scene. And what I really liked where Disney went with this was how they really showed you her transformation. And then it wasn't this beautiful transformation. It was something that was painful. And you see it in the scene right here. This isn't something, she's not enjoying this. You see it in her eyes. When her eyes get really wide in a second here, you'll see it. There you go, like that. But it's ultimately, she wants to win so badly that she's willing to disfigure herself to make sure that Snow White isn't. And this is all scary. These entire scenes here, I can see where they would be scary for me. What about you, Dan?
I think this is probably the iconic scary scene in all of Disney.
I have.
I think it's terrifying. I think that it is. I think it's not even the evil queen anymore. It's the old hag.
Right, the old hag.
I think the old hag is quite possibly the scariest looking character Disney has ever created, and I think they've also resonated that not just in the film, but when they brought that to meet and greets.
Oh, it's great.
And Phantasmic.
Oh, yeah, it's fantastic.
Like the overlap of how scary this scene and this character can be from this animated film to, what we get in the parks, I think really translates how scary this scene is. This is the scariest scene in Disney. And
I agree. And Hannah, hi. I want to say hi to Hannah. I'm sorry, real fast.
Hey, Hannah. Even when she's at the window seeing Snow White in the cottage, when she's at the window poking her head through with the basket of apples, I mean, that also really scary. Like just her whole presence is meant to be scary. And neither do we forget the ride Snow White's Scary Adventures, where the evil queen turns round and you see the old hag.
One
Even
of the
that's
best effects ever. I'm sorry. I'm sorry it's
no, no,
gone
no,
down
I
here in
totally
Disney World.
agree. Even that scene from the movie translates well into the ride that we had
Yes.
before it was changed to
Yeah.
Princess Fairytale Hall.
Definitely,
The,
definitely a sore spot with me. That was one of my favorites. I want to say hi real fast. Hannah Waghorn came in and said hi.
hey,
Melissa's here, my wife, and Googly Bear is here. So say hi to Smoochy Poo, Googly Bear. And
no, and what I love about this film as well is that it still holds up even
I
today.
think it does. I think it
does
does.
too.
Now the girl that's playing the new Snow White in the movie coming out next year, she doesn't think it holds up very well. But what does she know?
What does she? Well, let's be honest here. That film's not going to make
I'm not
a
seeing
good
it.
impression.
I'm not seeing it. But that's just me.
Hey, Cynthia. Good to see you.
Cynthia, Candy Mom, our first member. There she is saying hi. She's shocked because it's Dan. Well, here's another shocker. It's Dan's turn. Go ahead, Dan.
Oh God, it's my turn. Okay, here we go. Well, you took my next one, so I am going to go to. Should I go a bit controversial? No, let's not. I'm going to go a few years later from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs and go to another iconic villainous evil character, a character that doesn't really say a word. We're going to climb up Bald Mountain in Fantasia to Chudabog. The scene, the night on Bald Mountain in Disney's Fantasia, it's terrifying.
I have it on the screen right now. I agree.
Yeah.
Made my list.
It's really terrifying because this is the dance of the evil spirits of this mountain, led by Chanabog. And I think what Disney did so well was balance the music to the animation, especially in this scene, so well. Even so much that, again, like we spoke earlier with the Evil Queen in how it resonates in Phantasmic, I actually, when I was growing up and I went to Walt Disney World, the scene where Chernabog brings all the spirits in the Phantasmic show even scared me. And I can tell, when you go to Phantasmic and when you see all those ghosts flying through the water right in front of the audience, you can tell some of the kids are a little terrified from this. And they're like, where's this from? Well, it's from this film, Fantasia, The Night on Bald Mountain. So it is a really wonderful scene. It's scary as a kid, but I think it's a wonderful piece. I really love it. So that's the next one on my list.
Yeah, and I have it on the screen right now because that one made my list too. I agree. Every aspect of this part of the movie is nothing short of frightening, especially as a child. The look of Chernabog, the music, the score, the animation they did, all the different, you see all the different shadows coming over the town. You see the spirits flying in the air. I agree with you. It's very, very frightening, especially as a child, and even as an adult. It can be disturbing to seeing something like that. So I agree with you. I think it's a great one to really, be something that's kind of scary, especially for a Disney movie. You're not expecting that, but I agree 100%. That one made my list too. Chernabog, one of the greatest villains ever, but again, one that you don't really hear about that often, and yet he could be an amazing one if they really imagine a Chernabog meet and greet. Oh my God, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. Emily LSU mom, welcome in. Good to see you,
Emily.
dear.
That'd be great, wouldn't it?
That would be, dude.
I don't know
He'd
how
have
it
to
would
be
work,
really
though.
big though. He's got to be really, really big.
Yeah, I don't know how it would work.
I don't know. They'll figure it out. I'm telling you right now, that would be that meet and greet. If they ever came out and said, "Hey, we're going to have a meet and greet of Chernabog," I bet you, Daniel, that meet and greet is out the door. I'm telling
Guys,
you, man.
you know when Walt is serious when he calls me Daniel, not Dan.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that I would wait. I would. That one I'd wait for. JM, welcome in. Good to see you, Jim. All right, that was yours, right?
Yep.
All right.
That was my fourth one, I think.
All right, I've got a couple more. I don't have
Yeah.
any honorable mentions, Daniel. So Dan, if you have any, I'll be more. You're gonna take the stage for those.
Alrighty.
But okay. So this next one is again an obvious one. I think this one falls for everybody. I don't see anybody not having this one on their list, but it really is a scary scene. We're gonna go right here, Sleeping Beauty. All the fires from hell. There she goes, Maleficent, fighting the prince as the dragon. There he is, looking about as scared as every kid's gonna look. And this entire sequence that is just—it's awesome. It's scary. The dragon is scary. The thorns, the thorn trees, him getting struck by the dragon there. The entire thing is just so scary. As a child, you know, when she becomes that dragon and actually says, "And all the fires from hell," actually say that in a Disney movie back in the 40s, that's saying something. Take that into account, folks, when this movie came out, how much of a chance they're taking by saying that. And it's definitely scary. So Maleficent makes my list. What about you, Dan?
Yeah, totally made my honourable mention list. Maleficent. I said the old hag and the evil queen. They're probably the scariest looking. And Frollo being one of the most evil. Maleficent is the mistress of evil.
Yeah.
And she's so, I don't know, she just comes across not even like angry, not even, she's just pure scary. And the way she looks, the way she comes across, the way she just wants to, say, listen, on her 18th birthday she will die. Like that. Just saying that at the birth of Aurora is scary. So yeah, absolutely, definitely, a scary scene and a scary character for sure.
I agree. Emily says, scene in the movie she was most scared of as a child was the flying monkeys in The Wizard of Oz. That actually is a scary scene when the Wicked Witch goes up and says, "Fly, fly, my children," and then you see them all flying by and then that's a scary scene. Of course, we're not talking about Wizard of Oz because it's not a Disney movie. But Emily, I get it. That's a good one.
Oh yeah.
All right, Daniel. I've got two more. You're up next.
Yeah, I can do two more and a few honourable mentions for sure.
Cool.
The next one on my list is, I feel like we just keep going back to the really old ones.
Yes.
We're going to Pinocchio this time.
Oh, almost made my list. I know where you're going. Go ahead. I know where you're going.
Pleasure Island, where these boys get turned into donkeys.
It's true. I agree. Yeah.
And even at the end, where he's, the voice is one of the last things to go, and he's shouting, "Mama," like that's what a child would do when they are most scared. They are trying to call out for their mother to help them, and he's just calling out, "Mama, Mama," and then he's turning into that donkey, and it is terrifying. Like it's one of the scenes that you're worried about, the sudden transformations, I guess, because of doing bad deeds and whatnot, but how Disney portrayed this scene. I mean, I haven't seen it in years, but I just remember it so clearly. And I just remembered, I remember turning it off one time because of it. So for sure, I think, definitely the Pinocchio Pleasure Island scene, just in total. And actually, we don't actually go back to that scene at the end of the movie, so they're probably still doing whatnot.
I know, right?
That's what's even more scary, is it's still going on even today. So, yeah.
All right, I want to say hi real fast to Dan 820 Chief. Dan, say hi to Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Let's see who else came in. Brian's here. Brian Eisenhart is in the chat. Brian, good to see you. CNR Bloomer says Pinocchio would make their list for sure.
Yep.
Cynthia has been a member now for over 54 months, and she says, "I bet thanking the Phoenicians is a scary ride for Daniel."
We're not doing rides, and we're not doing scary inaccuracies.
We're gonna say hi to Horizons as well. So, on my take on that, that's a great one, by the way. I saw that one and I was gonna pick it, um, but it didn't make my list because I just like some of the other ones just resonated more with me. But
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, imagine being a young boy that age, thinking to yourself, "Oh my God, that could happen to me." Yeah, it's an animated film, but you're a kid. You don't know any better, and you're like, "Yeah." It's why your parents always say, "Don't go with strangers."
Just don't do it.
Just don't do it. That's right. Now that's a great pick, and many people have said that definitely would make their list. Mine too. Other than the fact some of the other ones, for me, it's more about the imagery behind it. For me, because I don't think the donkey scene is necessarily scary as much as it is disturbing. Seeing them change into that. I guess that's the word for me. Roger, welcome in as well. Got to say hi to Roger.
Hey, Roger.
But it's a great pick. Roger's over on your side too, from the UK.
Oh, more UK coming through.
Right?
That's what's happening.
All right, so this one, I'm going to cheat on this next one, okay? Because I actually...
Who would have thought that out of the two of us, you're the one first to cheat? Normally it's me.
I can't help it. I had to make sure I had several. And this is one that I've never actually seen the film. But I do know the character and I do know the scene. And the scene is kind of scary. But I've actually never seen the film. Okay? And it's the Horn King. From the Black Cauldron.
And you know what? I don't blame you because that film is not good.
Yeah, and I've heard that, but I do know the scene. And again, this is one of those scenes, just watching the scene, it's very creepy. It's very spooky. It is scary when you look at it. Just looking at it on the screen now, everything's dark. Everything's black. Everything's very shadowy. He's in a cloak. You can't really see his face. I mean, look at the hands. Look at the background. The entire thing, that's scary, especially to a child to see that. That could leave you with some nightmares there for sure. So the Horn King, look, there's a skull. The Horn King from the Black Cauldron makes my list. Daniel?
Yeah, I've had the displeasure of seeing the movie. I cannot say that I'm a fan of the film. Disney definitely pushed the boat out in this film and definitely went with an idea, but I just don't think they executed it well. I think to be fair, if there's one film that I would want them to do a live action remake of, it would probably be this, because they can only go up from here. And I think this scene would be unbelievable.
It could be. It could be. It could be.
Really
It could be one that really puts people on the edge of their seats. I agree 100%. But again, it's great. Excuse me. It's great to have good scenes, but I want good scenes or great scenes incorporated into a great movie. So I agree with you. So something like this, the Horn King is never really brought up because the movie's so bad people forget about it. People like Snow White with the the Evil Queen or Maleficent or what have you, they're remembered because the films are classics. Yep. This guy would have been remembered if the film was a classic. It wasn't.
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. So did you say you've got one more left?
I do have one more left.
Okay, so I'll do one more and then I've got a few honorable mentions.
Okay.
I am going to cheat. And we said the rule that was Disney animated films.
Yeah.
I'm going to break the rule and I'm going to go with a Pixar film. Because technically it is animated. Cool. And we're going to go right from the beginning. We're going to go to the original Toy Story.
Okay.
And when Woody ends up in Sid's bedroom.
Yeah. I know where you're going.
Underneath the bed comes all these toys that are mix and matched.
Mangled.
Glued and sawed together. And
kind of like a Frankenstein kind of thing.
It's like
they are mangled. Oh, it's terrible.
And it is terrifying, especially with I think it was the baby head with the spider body, and always the crane with the legs was always a bit weird for me. I don't know why.
Yeah, I agree.
But that scene, just like, oh, okay, I'm kind of good with like all these toys coming to life, like Buzz and Woody and Rex and Slinky. But then when you think about it, not all toys look like that. Some are
No.
mixed up, some are messed together, some have been put back together by parents and by messed up kids like Sid. That scene for sure is definitely puts you on the edge of your seat, especially for a Pixar film.
Yeah, well,
Um,
it's Sid. It's Sid trying to destroy and hurt the toys.
yeah,
It's his way of torturing them. It really is. And I agree. It can be a disturbing scene for sure.
it just makes you think as a child, has there any time that I have done something to a toy that may cause a toy uprising against me? I mean, you don't know, but we'll just wait and see. So if I'm not here next week, or if you don't hear from me, you'll know that my 23-year-old vintage Han Solo action figure would have killed me. But yeah, cool. So that's what I've gone with. Toy Story.
Oh, you're funny. That's a good one. No, and people in the chat have said it too. Heather was saying it. Wendy has said it. Heather said it. Emily said it. Jeannie said it. Yeah, I mean it's very true. Those are all. That's a good one because that scene is disturbing. It's kind of spooky and scary for sure.
Yeah.
Just for what they had to go through from him kind of dismantling and then torturing them and making them out to be like Frankenstein toys.
Yeah.
Brian says he was a creative genius, not a villain. May look odd, but if he hadn't been scarred by the toys, he could have grown up to be a Disney animator. I guess Brian's trying to be funny there. Brian, he's a terrible kid. Are you kidding me? We gotta talk, Brian. Oh my God, saw Baby and thought Dan announced something I missed. Baby? No.
No, the baby head with the spider legs.
Oh, the baby head with the spider leg. Okay.
Cynthia, you don't
Brian,
you don't need to. Don't worry.
All right. Here's my last
Right.
one. You guys
got one more.
You got to be patient with me on. Oh no, Daniel. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Honorable mentions.
Okay, so I've got a few honorable mentions. Very very quickly. Cruella de Vil, but only when she's like fully focused in the screen with the really evil eyes.
Oh right, yes.
Right, and she's about to like run over the puppies or trying to catch up with the truck. That scene alone of just her trying to catch up and kill the puppies, that was quite scary. Incredibles 2, when Elastic Girl goes through that apartment block, and then the villains, I think his name is Screenslaver, just does a jump scare in that film, like a proper like horror movie jump scare, and there's this big fight between Elastigirl and Screenslaver, and I thought that was quite suspenseful and quite scary. I thought that was quite good. And two more. The next one, it's not really an animated movie, but it's from an animated series, and it's the season 1, episode 6 of What If, Marvel's What If.
Is that the zombie one?
No, this is the Doctor Strange one, where he tries to do what he can to save. What's her name? What's Doctor Strange's love interest called?
Oh yeah, I know. I know who you're talking about. I can't think of her name.
And he consumes all those monsters and all those things, and he does. It's not so much scary like watching, it's just scary to think that he has to take in everything, consume everything to get what he wants, and it ends up destroying him. And it's all about greed and selfishness. And my last one is not an animated movie. Christine Palmer, that's her name. And the last one is not an animated film, but I had to throw it in there, and that's the entire film of Return to Oz, which is the spin-off.
That whole thing is just disturbing. I don't like that at all. I can't watch that movie.
Well, I had to throw that in there because that is
I've seen it. Oh,
a scary movie.
It's not very good either. But you're right. The entire thing. Oh yeah, I don't like that film.
No.
The whole thing.
So those were my honorable mentions.
Very good. All right, so those are all good picks, dude. the Oz one, the Return of Oz. Oh, terrible! I can't watch that. So many. I mean, the Wizard of Oz was great because you had all these. You had some scary places, of course, but you had a lot of great whimsical places. When she goes back to Oz, and I know why it's like that. It's like everywhere you went was terrible. It was nowhere good. I was like, what the heck? Anyway, all right. So my last one, you guys gotta work with me on this one, okay? Because I'm kind of going out on a limb, but I actually think this can be scary in some aspects, and I'll explain what I mean by it, okay? So this is the Bambi scene with her mother, and as you can see, the mother senses man. And there they are, they're running away, and they're trying to get away. This is a very intense, scary scene, because remember, Bambi's still a baby, and all he has is his mother. And you see them running, and the music, you don't hear the music, but the music's going, and then boom, you hear the shot, and all you see is Bambi running alone, and now Bambi's alone. And that can be scary, not just thinking of it as a child, what happens to your parents, and then you have nobody. And there he is, he's looking back, and he goes, "Mother, Mother!" And you hear them running, and you hear the music crescendoing, and then you hear the shot, and then all you see is Bambi. You don't see the mom anymore. And that can be an intense, scary scene if you're watching it as a child, especially a little child for the first time, and you're seeing this baby's mom. You don't see it, but you know what happens. That's an intense scene to me, and I think that one can be scary. So
yeah,
that was one. I wanted to go a little bit off the cuff of what you might normally get, but I think that's one for me that would make my list.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, that scene is very suspenseful, and it's scary because it's very spontaneous. It's very scary because everything happens off screen, so you don't really know the outcome. Well, you do know the outcome, but you don't see the outcome of what happens.
Right.
You just see it in Bambi's perspective, and
Right.
that's what is yeah.
Yeah, it's true, and it's it's one of those things that what's also very scary about that is that is real life. That is the perspective from a deer of who's evil in the eyes of a deer? Man, because man hunts them for gain, for food, but they also do it for sport. Unfortunately, some people do, and I think I don't know. I thought it was one that resonates for me, and I think it can for sure. Leanne says it's nauseating as an adult. It happens all the time for sure. And George Priestley, welcome in. Good to see you, bud. Hope you're doing well. And look, it's Mark Langenkamp.
Hey.
Mark says the scariest moment in any Disney movie was when Stinky Pete was not in his box when Woody turned around and saw Stinky Pete screwing the screws back in the escape duct. I remember that scene. Yeah, that's a good scene. Yes, that Bambi scene, scary and sad, but I think well constructed. Roger, I agree with you. I think the scene is done really well by Disney. They don't have to show it. They don't have to show the man aiming the gun at the deer. You know what's coming. And when the shot's heard, you knew what happened. I agree. I thought it was done, edited, directed, and animated really well.
Yeah.
All right,
Totally
I think
agree.
that's our list. I do want to give everybody one chance, real fast, Dan, before we get out of here. We got a few minutes. Anybody in the chat? Anybody have any that they have on their list that we didn't put on our list? Now's the time. Put it in the chat. And by the way, guys, I think we hit 50 likes. We hit 50 likes today. Woo! And there's still 31 of you in here. And since there are 31 of you in here, Dan is going to be hopefully getting his channel back up next year. He's going to be doing a Frankenstein. He's going to be reviving it from the dead. So be sure to go out to Dan's channel and subscribe. Because we're going to actually maybe be doing more like this in the near future. But we're going to give everybody a minute here to put their comments in there if they have one that they want to put in. and then we will wrap it up. Dan, any parting comments before we head out on your side of things?
No, you know what? It's just so good to be back, and I think as long as everyone else in the chat, likes this, I think we got to keep doing more of these. It's not, it's not. I heard the rumors through the grapevine. Did Walt and Dan have a big falling out? That's why they didn't do the streams anymore. No, that's entirely not true. By the way, no one said that. No one said that. No one said that. But no,
who said that?
No, honestly, it's I missed doing these streams with Walt, and Walt and I, we've always loved doing all these episodes. I mean, we did so many Disney movie reviews. I think we should definitely go back to reviewing those movies at some point and keep doing more of these, and we just have such a blast doing them. And the creative minds of ours will come together again, and we'll certainly do more. Maybe we'll do one more before my big Disney trip in December.
Well, it's funny you said that, because that is a great lead-in to, yes, I would love to do, during my stream week that's coming up in November, Dan and I will be doing a Disney movie review. I don't know what day of the week it's going to be yet, but we will be doing one, and we're going to be doing our top 5 Christmas movies.
Yes.
How's that? We'll go top 5.
That's a very dangerous topic for me.
I know, but you do watch Christmas movies, right?
I do.
You've seen the Santa Claus, you've seen the Home Alone, you've seen them all.
And I'm sure, Walt, you have seen the pub talk of my favorite Christmas movies with Rob and Adam, and you'll know that my favorite Christmas movies are not the ones you would normally pick off the shelf. No spoilers.
Right. But, that's what's great about it. I'm sure we're gonna have some traditional from you know who, and some probably non-traditional from this guy over here.
And you thought Die Hard was not a Christmas movie?
It's not.
Just wait till you hear what I've got.
So, guys, you got to join us for that. That's going to be a blast.
Yeah,
yes, Debbie says when Scar let Mufasa fall. That's a good one. That was a scary scene, for sure.
What else? Finding Nemo?
Oh, yeah. The very beginning.
The very beginning? That's scary.
Yeah, I agree. I was thinking of that too, Debbie. Yep, there you go. My pick for a scary moment in a Disney movie was when Mr. Incredible was back in his prime, and he saw that man jumping off the skyscraper, and Mr. Incredible saved him. Yeah, that's a good one. Bowser Bricks, welcome in.
Oh, I missed one.
Go ahead.
Home on the Range, when the villain starts going yodeling,
That's scary.
And that is scary because it's scary to me how Disney ever got to that point.
Well, it's scary that Disney even thought that was a good movie. Anyway. Emily said, look, she enjoys these types of streams as much as park streams. Emily, I agree. There's a certain level of coziness, just being familiar with each other that we have. Nostalgia. For me, it's nostalgic. Again, it reminds me of the old days. So I would agree with that 100%. Charlie says Avery's favorite is 8 Crazy Nights. It's not a Christmas movie, but it's a Hanukkah movie. Jeff Condon, welcome in.
I think some people who are maybe new in the chat or new to me, I don't think they quite know how long Walt and I have actually known each other, which is also very scary.
Wow. I mean, you got to figure, 2017, 2016, something like that? It's a long time. We've known each other for a very long time.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
We
were doing these streams back in 2018, 2019, like full go, like
all the time.
I mean, you had Daniela and her husband doing it, Miguel and Daniela doing Sunday Night Jeopardy. You had Meg. You had Disney Fiasco with you and Meg and Corey for a while.
Yeah.
You have D&G. You had PTV. You had Rob. You had us.
Everyone knew every single day who was on which day.
Yeah, Disney Nerd Herders.
Everyone knew.
Yeah,
everyone knew. Right, Monday was Meg's day.
Yep.
Saturday night was me, followed by Steve.
Yep.
You had
Stevesworld. Viapre Project had streams.
Viapre Project had every 2 weeks. It was crazy.
Yep.
It was.
Hey Jeanette, welcome in. Good to see you.
Those were the days.
Yeah, they were the days. I miss them. They were fun.
Too.
But things change. You know how it
But
is.
things change for good because it means when I come to Florida, I get to see my pal.
Yeah, man, I can't wait. See, look, Melissa kind of misses those days. She says, kind of, that much. Anyway, all right. Okay, everybody. So I want to let everybody know real fast because people have been asking. I had a couple interviews this week for a promotion, possibly. I thought the interviews went pretty well. Don't know
Yay.
yet, so hopefully, fingers crossed, it's a biggie. So we'll find out next week for sure.
Amazing.
But because people have been asking, I'm on a live stream now, so I'm getting it out there. But
Best of luck.
thank you. All right, Daniel. One more time. Who's our sponsor? We gotta thank them for this wonderful.
We do.
Stream.
Absolutely. So today's episode of the Disney Movie Review is sponsored by the Headless Horseman hats. Ever want to wear a hat so light that feels like nothing is there at all? Well, the Headless Horseman hats are ahead of the game. Are you sick and tired of those pirate hook hats, horned-eared weights, and over-the-top Frollo sombreros? Well, the Headless Horseman hats are perfect for your everyday activities. Well, whether that is horse riding, pumpkin throwing, Ichabod crane killing, spoiler alert, the Headless Horseman hats are wonderful. So don't miss out on these maleficent deals where you will get 2 hats for the price of 1. You will be Jack'll not believe it. That was terrible. That's Headless Horseman hats. You never have felt more attractive. I need to work. Actually, no, I need to get a better sponsor to do all these writings. Not that I write them. I get all these calls every week.
This is making me uncomfortable.
You should hear the next sponsor. Trust me. This is going to be classic Christmas.
Yes, exactly. Let me just say this, guys. First off, thank you to our sponsor. Hats off to them. Again, they are head and shoulders above the rest. They just do a great job, and they've always been kind of ahead of the game when it comes to their hat products. So be sure to check them out.
Let's cap off the stream, yeah?
Yes, exactly. All right, everyone. We are heading out again tomorrow. There may be a stream possibly, so keep an eye on that. Friday morning, very early, I do have a stream for the 5K. Melissa and I will be doing that. Hope you can join us. Look for the streams for over the weekend. We'll have them up as well. Again, Dan and I will be back in November for our stream week stream as we do our top 5 Christmas movies. That's going to be a blast. Definitely. You don't know what's going to happen. Maybe we'll even have a special guest. Who knows? But Daniel, any final words before we head out?
Happy Halloween.
Yes, happy Halloween, everybody. Tomorrow, big day. I'll be at Disney for Halloween.
Happy Halloween, everybody, and so good to be back. And I can't wait to do more of these. And I'll see everybody in December.
Yes, I know. In Disney, he'll be here with us. It'll be great. All right, everybody, we're heading out. Thank you all for being here. Dan, what is your send-off? What do you say?
Oh, gosh, it's been 2 years and I don't even remember. Oh, you live your life with a smile each and every day. Because
there you go. And everybody, have a great rest of your day. And until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Bye, gang. Have a good night. See ya. Bye.